So in the communications is related to all aspects of person-to-person communications. It can be messaging, it can be real-time communications, but it also consists of different programs that supports the communication, which consists, for instance, of the address book. So we have an enabler called Converged Address Book that deals with that. There are also some other supporting parts that deal with like group management, rules to deal with the group management, also how to deal with presence information. So anything, not only just communications, messaging, but also all parts that are useful for supporting communications and messaging, also part of the communication enabler. So communications working group, sorry. So we have a lot of work areas and working groups that deal for each and every items that is dealt by the working groups. So we started as a history. There are, for instance, MMS that, of course, that is now done. So, but there have been MMS, for instance, push to talk over cellular. There have been instant messaging also. More recently, also converged IP messaging that deals with the converging of different user experience of communications into one enabler. There have been, again, as I mentioned, converged address book, simplified converged address book, and other also enablers like XDM enablers present. So there are many enablers and work area enablers that have been standardized through different work areas and working groups, and we have been collaborating with many different officers, vice chairs and sub-working group chairs to produce high-quality enablers in the communication working group. In communications enabler, as I mentioned, there are different enablers. For instance, MMS, to start with, has been implemented in various mobile devices to enable the multimedia messaging service. But after that, there have been like instant messaging, simple IM, for instance, so followed by CPM and XDM, XML document management and presence, and all these enablers. How they are important to the market, because they are been especially, once you create the enablers, they are referenced by different organizations. One particular organization association is GSM Association, who created RCS as a project. So RCS stands for Rich Communication Suite, which profiles different parts of our communication group enablers, such as the simple IM, CPM, XDM presence, to create a new service suite of specifications that is suited for providing rich communication to the market. So this has been profiled, and nowadays you may have heard, like, for instance, the Join service that has been launched by some operators, mainly, for instance, in Europe. But RCS is also being considered by operators in Europe, in the US, or also in Asia, for expanding also more and more and using more and more the enablers of the communications enablers, such as, and the latest proposal, for instance, is adding the converged address book as part of the RCS latest versions. So there are still high interest and more interest from the operators to use the enablers from the communication working group to provide, to enrich against the RCS solutions for the market. Currently, the communications working group is working on one project which is called OMA ISC, which stands for Immersive Social Center, which provides a framework to converge, to integrate the communication experience with more content viewing experience. So while you're communicating, you're watching something. People often do that now with one or multiple devices, and you want to also provide some more immersive experience you may want to provide between users, provide also including some social interaction. These kind of things are included as part of the OMA IEC enabler, and which is in progress, and we expect that it will be finalized towards the around March, April next year. All the other enablers I already mentioned are in maintenance mode. We have been now finalized, and they are so based, but these can be evolved based on the needs of the market. As I mentioned, a rich communication suite, there are still continuing evolution and more needs from the market, and OMA Communications Working Group is continuously aligning with the market to ensure that the products, the specifications that you're producing satisfies the needs of the market. There are also other discussions so far which has not yet been approved and not yet part yet of the plan, but there have been some discussions in OMA about, for instance, dealing how to use push-to-talk over cellular for public safety, for instance. That we can reasonably expect at some point that will be discussed in OMA, and since push-to-talk over cellular is an enabler belonging to Communications Working Group, we can expect reasonably that this is a work that we may be done in the future. Also, other items, for instance, that deals with improving the call, which is done only nowadays via the audio, but how do you integrate the call with some more visual feedbacks, visual interface, that to enrich the user experience of the call you're making with other contacts. So these are all under discussion so far. So we can expect more work in the future, and there's still a lot of work to do in the OMA Communications Working Group. So I invite all members who are interested to join us for these very exciting activities in this group. Thank you very much.